Hi again. So this is a very short video just to give a few tips on using prompts with Codex. So after my last two videos, I've got a few people asking me a few questions, and the usual complaints that I see with Codex is that it behaves a little bit different than what you get with the regular DaVinci GPT3 prompts. So of course we have to remember that Codex is still in beta, so it will change, it is changing. We don't know how the final product will perform, will behave. So what is valid now in this video may not be valid in a few weeks or in a few months. So let me give you, I'm going to address one common problem, perhaps the most common problem with Codex, which is when you ask him to generate a piece of code, it will keep generating more code and doesn't know when to stop. And you usually will go up to the max tokens that you allow him to go. So I'll just show you a very quick example here. And I'm still struggling with this keyboard. So I'm using PHP, but this doesn't matter. You can use whatever you want. So let's say if I want to give the instruction to write a function to print all prime numbers until a given number. So this is the same I gave today in the demo of my AI that self-generates its own code. So if I leave things like this, I didn't tinker anything with the settings, it's just plain vanilla playground except for setting up the code. So I'm going to submit this and see what Codex does. Okay, so he's generating the function for his prime, is finished, and now we start to generate a function for print primes, which kind of does more or less the same thing. It's kind of a loop to call this one, so it doesn't make much sense. And then he calls this one with number 100. So yeah, you'll get this problem, and this was not bad. Usually goes like 3, 4, 5 functions. It just keeps printing out one after the other. So I'm going to show you two ways you can avoid this and how to actually work with Codex in a better way. So the first one is valid only if you are getting only one function, one piece of code. So in this case, I know that one thing that I advise you to do is to use doc blocks. So the functions should be documented. Let's say I'm going to delete this, and I don't even need this instruction because it will get it from what I'm writing. Remember, this is an autocomplete engine. It's a very elaborate autocomplete. So it will pick the intention from what you've written before, and it will complete it. So if I write a doc block saying print all prime numbers until a number. This is the description of the function, and now I say there is a parameter which is an integer called number, and there is a return type which is a boolean, and that's it. And now I just hint that okay, this is where the function starts. I can even tell him what the function can be called. For example, print primes until number, and now I let it autocomplete. Okay, so what is different here? It put the arguments in a separate line, maybe because I pressed enter before. Anyway, that doesn't matter, it's fine. So what is the difference here? Because I added the doc blocks, he's going to follow the same pattern. So he's going to add doc blocks in all the functions he's going to do afterwards, even the ones that don't matter. So what is this for? Now you can use this as a stop token. So now I can have this in the stop tokens. Let me put it here. Whoops. Okay, now it's part of a stop token. So now if I do the same, there, you got one function and it stopped. And for some cases, this is a very simple solution and it's fine. If you pay close attention, it won't fit this scenario. Why? Because in this case, he is actually generating a call to a function that he would generate himself. So by taking this one out, by not allowing him to continue, I actually lost this functionality. So this will work fine for a very simple piece of code which works on its own, but if GPT is creating functions that depend on one another, this solution won't work. Okay, so let's go to another solution. The other solution is quite simple and is the one that is advised in OpenAI documentation. You use a separator like this. So I can say, for example, generate functions according to the doc blocks, right? And let's try even without adding the name. Maybe it'll generate a good name for me. Okay, yeah, pretty similar to mine. Again, he's using isPrime. So we need the isPrime function. There it is. Okay, and now he's hallucinating. Okay, he started already doing stuff that doesn't matter, but watch what happened. It knew exactly when the feature that you wanted stopped and when it's going to begin something else. So now that you have this, you use this as your stop sequence. And now you can do this again, and let's say, okay, print all even numbers until a given number, and we do the same thing again. This keyboard kills me. We don't need a return. Yeah, we don't need a return here. Could be void, but doesn't matter. So print even until is going to use another function. No, it isn't. But notice how it didn't continue to do anything else. Now let's try the same thing again, but without the stop sequence, without the stop tokens. So it went completely crazy now. Maybe because, okay, let me just hint that we are going to start the function here. Yeah, okay, so you see now it's hallucinating the next functions again. So once you have this hint, he will do that, and I don't know exactly how it works, but I know that he understands that this function was needed by this one. This was kind of part of the same block, and even though they are separate, he understands this is one thing, he understands this is a second thing, and they should be separated. So as long as you use these tokens as stop tokens, you'll be fine. Okay, so this was a short tip. Maybe I'll do more in the future, but I think this will help quite a few people that have been asking about this never-ending completion from GPT-3. Have fun and see you soon.